Hi, this is Daryl White with Carte Blanche Media, and today I have as my guest Jon Reyes, who's a copywriter. Jon, thank you so much for being on the show today. Can you go ahead and tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, so I've been a marketer, copywriter, consultant for since 2013. There's my focus has been direct response marketing as opposed to ordinary marketing, where it's every piece of copy I write, every campaign we run, every email we send out, every ad has to generate a measurable level of clicks, a measurable level of sales. So it's kind of literally being a salesman in print. Everything we create and do has to be how much money did it bring in.
Okay, thanks so much for sharing that. And tell me a little bit more about like how you got started kind of down that path.
Originally started as was one of those guys who graduated college. I studied advertising, bachelor's degree, and as graduation approached, I realized I'm not gonna actually get a job in the advertising world unless I move to LA, New York, follow the traditional route. So I started a job. I wanted to be a salesman at the time. So I built a kind of a phone sales, technical support, the old school kind of careers like that. And I was fairly good at it, but to me, it felt like a dead end. So 2013, 2014, I hired my first internet marketing mentor, started off with affiliate marketing, blogs, all that stuff that people don't do as much. And, he told me you're really good at kind of the direct response copywriting side. Why don't you do it? And I said, hey, people who make six figures working 15 hours a week, I'm in. And I got pretty good pretty quickly. The whole aspect, I think, was because I used to be a big back in the day, personal growth junkie. I studied all the sales training, entrepreneurship books, and even health and wellness, trying to teach myself physical hacks, trying to teach myself how to be more athletic, to be lean and cut. And thankfully, when I first started my career, at the time, it was a full-time copywriter. Around 2014, 2015, I ended up working with these companies who actually happened to be health and wellness, the self-help guys, the business gurus. And when I started writing their copy and helping them build out campaigns, I was just a natural at it. So, that I just kind of took it and ran with it from there.
Nice, very nice. Kind of what's been the biggest challenge that you've had since you got started there?
I'd say the biggest challenge was really kind of finding a zone of genius. There were certain things where I had to narrow down the types of projects I did, the types of industries I worked in, the types of clientele, because I was getting really good really quickly, but then there were certain parts where I wasn't that strong. For example, the financial industry, these kinds of things, a lot of them make money online stuff. I realized I shouldn't become a generalist. I can't help just anyone. I can't help, I can't help the people in the financial market. I can't help people who want to teach people how to be stock traders and invest in real estate. So I wasn't that good. And I think the biggest challenge was finding and being strict on sticking to niches and industries and companies where I knew I was going to help them make a lot of money, help them do it really quickly, and just stay with the niches and industries that I was extremely confident in. So I would say that was probably one of the things that most marketers and service providers and even agencies, bigger companies struggle with, is trying to sell or have clientele that's too broad. It's try not to be the jack of all trades, because then you master of none or whatever, but you master like 3 or 4 niches, and then you just hit home run after home run. And I think that was the probably in the middle of my career, something I really had to get strict on.
Nice. Kind of what's been your biggest success in copywriting so far there? You kind of mentioned the mentor there a little bit. If you want to talk about that, you can, but yeah.
Of course. So I think one of my biggest successes was within my first year or two when I started. People were hiring me and they said, "We want you to create a campaign. Our goal is to, we got a couple of days, has to generate at least 15K this weekend." So I'm like, this is high pressure stuff. It was just week after week, month after, it has to generate 30K, 50K. And lo and behold, I really stepped up, kind of like an athlete has to step up during pressure, or you just, you don't become a good player. And I hired more mentors, and next thing I started hitting home run after home run. And I think my first year and a half, I helped. They were kind of the old school Wolf of Wall Street type companies, that teach you to do sales, teach you to be a badass entrepreneur. I work with them as their copywriter, with their project managers, their marketing team, and within 4 or 5 months, I looked at the uh, statistics, the revenue, where we measured my performance, and I helped them generate well over this, $1 million mark. So I was like, all right, I just kind of want to work for myself. I just want to work part time and just cut me paychecks. And they're like happy to do it. And it was very quickly where after that, I started to be a consultant for kind of the executive, kind of the owner, the solopreneur. So it's helping them write their copy. And then it was like actually teaching them, this is actually, you actually have to recruit better. You actually don't need to hire this many people. I think you need to use a legal contract here. These clients are terrible. These clients are better. So at that point, I started to help build companies beyond uh, just a copywriter, which I think was really rewarding, and it's something I still do to this day. And at some level, I enjoy that aspect too, of actually helping to build and systematize companies alongside executives and stuff like that.
I think you mentioned kind of last time we talked there, certain book that has been helpful to you there, but do you have kind of a favorite book there, marketing wise, copywriting wise, that's been helpful?
Yeah, I think one of the first books that really helped me, it doesn't sound exciting, it was called The Ultimate Sales Letter. And it was from Dan Kennedy. He's one of the biggest direct response marketers of all time, who was like, this is how you write to make money. It's very simple. You write this, it makes money. You get really good, you can write stuff that makes 100K. Don't like spend all this money, don't buy all these ads, just focus. If you need to send pieces of mail out, make sure it's good. This is how you do it. And then you probably generate 100 sales. And it was just very much, when you write, you're a salesman in print. And it was called The Ultimate Sales Letter. I thought it was a boring title, but when I read through it, it blew my mind. This guy sold millions of dollars worth of services and products, and all he did was just write mail. It was just like long letters in the mail. Nobody at the time was, why would I send long letters in the mail folded up with funky writing on the outside and little toys attached to the outside because it helped people open it. And the psychology was like, that's exactly why you make the sale, because people get stuff in the mail. It's like a big weird letter with a toy attached to the outside, and they open it. And it's an amazing written sales letter that actually encourages people, they're reading it. I never seen something like this. And it's a long sales letter. By the time they get to the end, it tells them to buy something. And it generated so much response that he kind of pioneered that style of marketing and copy. And it's not used as much today, but the psychology, blew my mind. And it's something a lot of great copywriters use as a foundation for their careers.
Yeah, Dan Kennedy, I believe, is kind of a just legend in the direct response and just marketing world in general there. So yeah, excellent right. Choice there. Do you have kind of a favorite podcaster or so that has kind of been helpful to you in your journey?
Yeah. Earlier on, they're still around. They're still doing really well. It's called I Love Marketing. It was founded by a guy named Joe Polish. They were kind of the hub for some of the most globally respected thought leaders, globally respected influencers, JJ Virgin, across multiple niches, marketing, fitness, masterminds. And I think people pay like $30,000 to join his mastermind, something like that. And I just used to listen to it all the time. They were just so smart. They were just bouncing ideas around, and just to hear them talk, it was just, these guys were making 7, 8 figures, and they would just talk freely, and just like little nuances and things they said, you really could tell they knew how to just market, sell, write, speak. And it's just, I could do it in 2 hours a day, and I'm running a 7-figure company, and they're still operating that way. So they were, at least at the time, many of the top dogs around the world who sold any kind of info of any kind in any niche, they were all part of Genius Network, which I Love Marketing was their podcast. So, and they're still around. I think the podcast is still doing really well.
Yeah, Joe Polish, I met him, I think, once there, and yeah, from marketing. Yeah, Great, great podcast for sure. Great choice there. And I know you have a podcast coming out too. You can feel free to talk about that now or towards the end here if you like. But kind of moving on there to YouTube videos and just video series. Is there kind of anything that you watch to help you out with your copywriting there on YouTube or any other services?
A lot of people do get a lot of value and teach themselves a lot of things from YouTube, but I found that when it comes to marketing and copywriting and being a better consultant, I don't learn through YouTube. I actually learn through doing, through reading books, through interacting, and I'm not one of those people. There's I couldn't really recommend a solid YouTube channel to follow, but I would encourage people to understand your style of learning. Do you learn better auditory? Do you like to listen to audiobooks? Do you learn better, with real interaction? Do you learn better by reading and doing? Personally, I'll watch YouTube all day for things like, playing music or, teaching myself more athletic drills. But yeah, for any business or marketing purposes, even sales, YouTube doesn't really resonate.
That's fair enough. That yeah, everybody kind of learns a little bit differently there. Sounds like you might be more kinesthetic there. I think it's kind of the
Yeah,
learning style or something like that. Yeah.
kinesthetic and visual, so
Yeah.
not necessarily
Yeah.
auditory.
Gotcha. And what would you say has kind of been the most helpful tool that you've used for your business in the past year or so there, if there is one? Yeah.
I'd say the biggest tool, even, as a consultant, helping people operationally, helping them stay away from roadblocks and helping executives build a company, has always went back to amazing copy. Like the Dan Kennedy style of write this in a few hours, you're good enough, send it out in a mass level, your copy, and it can generate tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales. And, there's times where there's a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of marketers, a lot of salespeople, and the ones who, no matter how big or strong you get, you can always circle back to amazing copy, especially if you have competition. If you have, you're hitting a pinch, you don't want to hire a bunch of people, or you're not as business savvy, you can just go on Facebook. I'm going to write an amazing few ads, an amazing landing page, an amazing social media post and all that stuff. And then you can just do it all on your own and generate, quite a few grand with investing pennies on the dollar. And, for me or for clients too, it's always been going back to that. There's a lot of people who are amazing at networking or making sales, but there's not many people who can put it all together and write copy. So
Very cool. I usually have like two questions left here at this point, but I kind of want to ask you a question that is not exactly on the menu, but it's kind of related, and you can tell me if you don't want to answer it here or not. What is your feeling about like the impact of like AI on the copywriting profession there? Do you think it's helpful, hurtful? Like, are people kind of just wasting their time doing that? And if you don't want to respond, you can just say we can move on. Yeah.
no, I think the way to take advantage of AI is to hire someone who's like at a director of copy chief level, because they could probably replace a staff of maybe 5 copywriters. Just one guy, with really solid AI skills, just understands how to set the programming, how to target it, how to edit it, what style of copy to mimic. And, I essentially have built kind of a copy team with the way I use AI. And it's just me, maybe an assistant to copy edit, and then just AI. But the thing is, it can become a huge rabbit hole for people who are not that savvy, because I want to learn all the tricks. I want to learn how to write different articles. Oh, shoot, I'm plagiarizing. Will this email convert? Now I'm just going to stare at it and edit it. And then you went down the pothole when you could have just hired someone to do it all for you, or maybe a little more than you thought you would invest. But in terms of time, it's like if you hired someone to do it for you, they could just clean up all your AI, show you how to do, show you how to write it using AI, show you how to basically implement it for you, and just like, work one-on-one with someone who will do it for you or with you, because otherwise it'll just be a rabbit hole. I just learned the basics in maybe an hour a month talking with other high-level people, and it just made AI amazing. People will spend all this time and all sorts of effort and all sorts of trial and error editing, and this is plagiarizing. It's just like find someone who's just using it even if they're low key and you don't need to hire all these people, you don't need to go all these masterminds, just get straight to the path from A to B. How to use AI, how to use it to generate response, how to use it to generate sales, how to use it to build your name, and just do it without floundering around. So it could be a double-edged sword for sure.
Absolutely. Great answer there. Yeah, I appreciate that. So I just got two more questions left for you. So what would you say is kind of the most impactful piece of advice that you could give to somebody who is looking to improve their copywriting or kind of add a copywriter to their business even?
I'd say the biggest thing is there's two things, right? It's all, people say you get what you pay for. So, if you want a really high level copywriter to help you out, to just sometimes you just might want a one-off project. It's I have a Facebook campaign, I need help. I don't know what to write. I don't even know if I'm targeting the right people. I don't even know if I named my product correctly. I don't even know if this is the right style of campaign. A great copywriter can set it from A to B. Now, let me see your product. This is how we're going to sell it. This is what you're going to write. This is the strategy we're going to use. This is how you talk to your target audience. All of this stuff needs to be changed. And this is the strategy we're going to create and implement. That's the kind of copywriter you're going to have to pay or invest a lot more for. But if you pay a few grand, the whole essence is that copywriter should be able to triple or quadruple your investment. You pay a copywriter 5 to 10K to do something very robust, but the goal is in a month you should be making 50K, and then take what you got from him and turn it into 100K, and then that's the essence of a great copywriter. If not, if you're writing your own or if you have a copywriter you already work with, sometimes it is just getting that kind of copywriter and then asking them to be a consultant. I've worked with many teams. It was just like, you don't need someone like me to do this extremely robust campaign. Just send me what you've already got. Let your copywriter shoot me his document, email me, and I'll just tweak some of that stuff, and I'll train your copywriter to get better. It's not, let me handle the bulk. So I think it's balancing, understanding what's right for you at the time, and understanding, the investment in a great copywriter who charges, 5, 10K or more is the whole premise is how much are you going to make after you work with them. If not, maybe if it's not worth it for you at that level, then there's probably resources you can already maximize and just hire a consultant who can help you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, final question for you is, how can people get a hold of you, Jon, and learn more about you? I know you got the podcast coming up, so feel free to talk a little bit more about that too.
Yeah. So my page right now is copyblueprints.com, COPY blueprints.com. You'll see my contact info, a lot of my background. You can book a direct call with me as well. But I do have a podcast. It's in the making right now. Got quite a few amazing guests. It's called The Authority Marketing Podcast, and it's kind of a culmination of all this experience and very similar experts where we kind of just talk about, of course, I'm always going to be very heavy on the direct response, copywriting and marketing side, the old school, but a lot of the guests come on with complementary skills in marketing, sales, email automation, building out traditional campaigns, stuff that was like on TV and radio. So there'll be a link to that at copyblueprints.com once it's fully up and running by probably January of 2024.
Okay, well, great. Well, Jon Reyes, thank you so much for taking the time today. I really do appreciate it. And you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.